Welcome to the Victorious POD podcast with your hosts, Jack Vickers and Tyler Herman.
Hello, Pod Squad. Welcome back. Don't call it a streak, but we have done Tuesdays for 2 weeks in a row. So prepare yourselves. We're going to be super ready on the ball. There's going to be no mess ups. We're doing this all one shot live. So welcome back for another week of the Victorious POD. We are covering some Week 11 reactions, looking into Thanksgiving with just a crazy, screwy schedule. So make sure to set your lineups early because there's games, it seems like, every day for the next 5 days. And we're going to talk about a little bit of a mile high letdown in Denver this past week as well. But first, bringing in my co-host, as always, with the mostest, Tyler Herman is going to tell us something cool he did on the week before Thanksgiving.
Fabulous. It's nice out here still. So sorry, Minnesota and everywhere in the Midwest. So we're still playing softball. So we just finished up. That was our last session essentially before now winter break until March. But we took home the ship. So we had.
I saw that on Facebook.
Yeah, we had a blast. It took us a few seasons. We took a whole lot of seconds and a whole lot of thirds throughout the summer, and then ended at the last one with the ship. So we'll take it and ride off into the sunset and onto the actual semi-cold.
That is super cool. I will say I can't complain because there's not snow yet. So whatever. Mm-hmm. It's Thanksgiving week and there's no snow, so I can't be super unhappy. It is a little nippy out. I worked out in the morning and I was definitely mistaken walking out of my house in shorts and a gym t-shirt. I put on a sweatshirt and was like, I don't want to layer up to go to the gym. So we're in that mode. For us, this past weekend was super cool. We officially got Jackson baptized. So haven't put that on Facebook or anything yet. But yeah, we went through all that. Local church nearby our house and that we've been to several times for like different, both mass and otherwise, but had a good chunk of both of our families there. So there was a solid amount of people and went through the whole mini ceremony with the regular priest actually ended up being sick. And then the priest that filled in for him left 2 minutes after the ceremony was over. He just hightailed it out of there. So we were sitting there going, somebody gonna do this? Or like I wouldn't care, but we just had family drive from like an hour away. So this third guy was like, let's go, I'll do it, I'm in. And just
that's awesome.
Rolled with it. So super fun, super cool. We got some great pictures. He slept the entire mass, and then the 20-minute ceremony, he just like smiled and stared at the priest. I'm like, what have you done with our kid? You're so like, he's a very, very good baby, but he does not last for like hour-long stretches. It's like 20 minutes, and then he's bored, and then he gets pissy. So yeah. So anyways, awesome. That was really cool. And then we did one of our 3 Thanksgivings this week, going with Christine's side on Sunday as well. So that was busy, and I'm already full, and I'm already trying to prepare for the rest of the week. So that's our life.
We did our church group one that we do every year on, what was that? We did it on Sunday. So just a couple days ago. So it's that season. We got one Thanksgiving out of the way, and that might be our only one. I don't know if we're going to do anything really beyond. We're not going anywhere. We're not traveling anywhere.
Yeah.
So
just do a mini at home.
We'll cook something here, or whoever's around, they can come on over. But we're certainly not going anywhere, especially with 2 little ones and a puppy. We'll be right here, and I have no issues with it at all.
Yeah, there is nothing wrong with that. That's very nice. So, all right, well, cool. I got a couple options. I'm gonna go with a would you rather for the week because every week I try to find ones that are somewhat tougher. I feel like everybody who listens hears Tyler just go, "Yep, it's A," or "Nope, it's number 2." I'm like, I'm trying to stump him or make him be like, "Oh, these are at least tough." So
okay.
This time we're going to go with a little bit more communication. I'm sure once again it's going to depend on the job, not the work from home part this time. But for this one, would you rather have to only use your thumbs to type on a keyboard? So throughout the day with work, you're just doing punt and peck basically, but with thumbs. Or you're only allowed to use your index fingers like old boomer style on a phone. So you're sitting here just doing this kind of thing to type or to text. You don't get to use like audio text, anything like that. You have to manually do one of these typings either way. So which one's worse? Which one would you roll with?
I'm definitely rolling with the pointer finger on the phone for sure. I'm good with that. I can I literally type all day, every day. That's exactly what I do, and I'm so proficient at it. There's no way I could figure it out with my thumbs. I would be so lost. I'm like, texting and things like that on a phone, I could do this pretty quick. So I'm definitely going to take the index finger on the phone.
I'm probably going to be in the minority here, but I'm going to go the other way. I also type all day. I'm just on a computer job, but and this drives my wife crazy as well. I do a variation of the hunt and peck where I never learned to type with all fingers. I only type with these two, but I do it without looking at the keyboard. I completely just do this like a normal person's typing, but I'm only using these two. And Christine's watched me do it during work, and she's like, "What are you doing? Are you hunting and pecking?" And I go, "No, hide the keyboard. Like I can do it fine. I just am faster with these." And she's like, "There's no way that's efficient." And we've done speed tests. I've done speed tests with other friends. Blow them out of the water. I'm so fast with just these two, but for whatever reason, people are like, "Didn't you take like computer classes in school?" And I go, "Yeah, I cheated, or I played like Oregon Trail the entire time." So I'm not going to change now. So here we are. But,
yeah, pretty ingrained at this point. But that's incredible for sure. There's no way with the amount that I type every single day. There's no way I could just do it with all thumbs. I send too many emails and respond to too many things. Yeah.
If you type correctly, it's a bigger detriment. For me, it would be a learning curve of switching from these to these, but I feel like eventually, I don't know, we could get there. So.
Yeah, I also have big ass hands, so I'm like my hands are massive, so I'm like, I feel like I would just mess up. I would literally be all thumbs. Got him.
Exactly, that's the point. Yeah, problem solved. It's all thumbs.
Couldn't do it.
All right, well, moving on. Fan interaction, Discord, YouTube especially. All the other socials we're not super active on, but YouTube, if you subscribe to that, you at least get the alerts for when we toss out some shorts, including our little 5 to 10 minute videos of our drafts and stuff like that. So it really helps if you subscribe. Helps more if you like the videos, or if you just toss a quick comment of like, loved the episode, or what do you think about this? Give us some stuff to react
more likely,
to. That'd be cool.
Hated the episode.
Yeah, don't comment anyway. It helps the algorithm. But
constructive criticism.
I've yet to hear constructive criticism. It's been either support or it's been straight criticism with no help whatsoever. So
that's okay.
Appreciate that. Moving into the NFL news, I'll let Tyler do the Vikings 60-second synopsis.
Yeah, I kind of just want to kick it back to you because it was brutal.
You jinxed us. You wore the Broncos jersey last week.
I told you it was going to happen. I said it. I said this was going to be the weird one where we stumble. It just felt like a Vikings stumble. So, for those that didn't watch it for whatever reason, Vikings lost to Denver 21-20. We're up 17-9, and then just kind of slowly let them back into it. Didn't score any points at the fourth quarter. Field goals. It was absolutely brutal. So we stumbled, like I said, just kind of like I thought. We're still very firmly in the wild card. We're still 2 games ahead of Green Bay, Rams, Atlanta, Tampa Bay. So we're still good from that perspective. We're projected essentially 9-8 finish. Most algorithms give us an 80.5% chance to make the playoffs. So I'm not concerned from that point. It's just we come up against these teams where we tend to play to their level. We play really up, we play really down. Denver's obviously been on a roll the last few weeks between beating KC and the Bills as well, and came into here. So we knew they were going to come with a chip on our shoulder. It's just hard when it felt like we really didn't play very well. At least a lot of our offense didn't play very well, and it's still one that we should have won, but we couldn't pull it out.
Yeah, it's the most frustrating to me loss of our 5 losses this year, because Denver was playing so much worse other than that last drive, and our defense looked so good. Like the fact that we had 3 turnovers in that game and we still stopped them on short fields repeatedly, like they couldn't get in the end zone at all. It was like, it's one that you should win, and the fact that we were, up, like you said, by basically 1 score the entire game and just couldn't put them away. Like just kicking the field goals and being like, we just need a touchdown to end this thing. And we just kept kicking field goals to barely stay up. Like as soon as it happened, I think I even said in the third quarter when I was watching, I'm like, the fact that we've only held them to field goals all this time and still can't win, it's going to come down to them having the ball last and it's going to be over. And it's just exactly what happened. So it was very frustrating offensively. I said it the last week where I was like, I feel like there's going to be one game where Dobbs looks kind of rough and the team just falls flat. And you specifically said this game, this was kind of what I figured. So I wouldn't say I'm disappointed overall. It would have been nice to get it when we didn't play perfect because we still played well enough to win. But I'm also not I feel like a lot of the fans were like, oh, we won those 2 in a row with Dobbs and with all these injuries. And now we're back on it. We're the big threat. I'm like, this probably balances out the couple that we maybe shouldn't have won. So the only frustrating part, like you said, the playoffs, it doesn't scare me because it seems like there's all of a sudden like a very clear divide on the top
Yes.
7 and the bottom everybody else. So it doesn't scare me there. It's just the fact that it's like currently it's the difference between playing the Saints, who are the 4 seed, or the Lions or the 49ers. Like Lions would be interesting.
Exactly.
I'd rather play them because things can happen in the division, but like there's a big difference of being a top wild card and a bottom wild card team.
Correct.
And like there's still a world where you get a home game if you're a top wild card team and win. So
right.
That's what scares me. That just kind of, I think, solidifies whether we're going to squeak into the playoffs or whether we actually have a chance. And I think, barring winning, 5 of the next 6 games or so.
Right.
I don't think that that's going to happen. So,
No,
anyway.
So,
home against Chicago, Monday Night Football. I believe it was either flexed into that or that's the Monday night game. So that'll be
correct. Yep.
Exciting. It's at home, at least. We beat Chicago in Chicago previously, so there should be no excuse that we win. But this is another one of those, like the Chicago game earlier, and there's a couple of other games against bad teams. Carolina game, Chicago and Carolina, where we barely won. This is one of those where, like, you need to prove it and just easily win by, like, 10 points, 14 points, something.
Yeah.
Like, Chicago shouldn't be doing much. I know they have Fields back, but, like, they're not a real threat. So if you come out there and barely win by 4 or, God forbid, lose, like, that's just proving my point. So
yeah, I feel
we'll
like
see.
Chicago. I mean, exactly like you said, this should be one where we can dominate. But I feel like Chicago kind of has a weird chip on their shoulder now. Even though they lost to the Lions, they should have won. Their defense has been a whole lot better, and they kind of finally unleashed Fields and let him run. He had 18 carries this last game. Fields did. I was like 17 or 18, something like that,
Yeah.
but over 100 yards. And I'm like, if you guys are gonna let him do that, thankfully we have fast linebackers and whatnot. But I'm like, damn, we're gonna just play a spy and lose that pressure because we're gonna have to play contain all game.
Yeah,
it'll be an unfortunate close one for sure because it feels like they're like itching. They're like, we're right there.
The crazy part is beyond the Bears and Raiders the next 2 weeks with a bye in between being ones we should easily win. All of a sudden, that Bengals game now seems a lot easier with Burrow being out. So, I mean, like, that could easily... This should be a very easy 3-0 stretch here leading into playing the Lions, who were only 2 games behind on in the last 2 out of 3 weeks. So, like, it should set us up to be 9-5 going up against them, who are maybe 10-6 at that point, and try to seal one. So, anyways, enough Viking stuff. That's it for now, but we'll recap it after Monday. So, moving into the NFL Pick'em side, I'll run through how we did this past week, and then once Tyler's back, we can run through week 12, or I will cover from there. So, Nick continues to stay at the top along with Tyler. Both of them are tied at 17-5. They both went 2-0 this past week, getting Jacksonville correct. Nick had Miami correct, and then Tyler had Houston. So, we're seeing some decent teams start to finally be used up as we come down to the wire here. Nate and myself are 1 game behind. Nate lost a game, so it was a 3-way tie. Now it's a 2-way tie at first. I caught up to Nate. I'm 1 off of the leaders. Nate had Seattle wrong with the Geno injury. That's unfortunate. And then he had Miami correct along with what Nick picked. I went completely opposite of, I think, almost everybody, but I had Detroit winning, and then I had Buffalo getting them out of the way with how they were struggling. Thank God they held on and beat the Jets at least, so we got that. Max staying close, 15-7. He got Houston and Denver correct, unfortunately picking against the Vikings. And then Foster kind of dropping off a little bit with a 1-1. He needed that second one to stay in contention, but he's at 13-9. He got Detroit right along with me. Got the Chargers wrong, unfortunately. I wanted to pick them against the Packers, but that ended up kind of being a trap game like we talked about. So
yeah, I was going to say, we said it was a trap. I mean, on the road in Lambeau, traveling into the semi-cold, it was a relatively nice day. The line was only +3. I'm like, everything about this looks fishy. And it was.
I still have them as a team, so I almost used them this past week instead of to try to save Detroit. I'm glad I didn't.
I'm glad I used them because I might have.
Connor staying perfectly balanced at 11-11 with a 1-1 week. He had the Bengals wrong. Obviously, unfortunate with Burrow. Who knows what would have happened in that Ravens game, but got the Dolphins right. And then Joe down at the bottom, 8-14, did get his first win in the last 3 weeks with the Cleveland Browns winning, but he got Cincinnati wrong. So that's the current standings, and we'll let Tyler run through the Week 12 picks, which are all in on the episode for once.
Yeah, we got everybody in here, so appreciate everybody sending it to Jack before the episode. So for myself, I still have the Patriots, so it's really the last spot that I thought they could even potentially have, even though they're on the road. So I'm going to take the Patriots over the Giants. I don't love it, but I have to use them at some point. And I'm going to take KC over Las Vegas. So I don't love it. Divisional game on the road, but I think they're going to be real salty after this last game. So hoping it's just a simple one to at least potentially go 1-1. Jackie going Tennessee over Carolina, which I would have done if I hadn't used Tennessee already. And then Cowboys over Washington on Thanksgiving. Nate's going opposite of me. He's going Giants over Patriots, Tennessee over Carolina. Connor's going Tennessee over Carolina with me on Patriots over Giants. Joe, Cowboys over Washington. Pitt over Cincinnati. Interesting one, especially interdivision. Foster's going KC over Las Vegas, Tennessee over Carolina. Nick's going Tennessee over Carolina. New England over New York Jets. So Case, and then Mac finally is going KC over Las Vegas and Giants over the Patriots. So I'm going to be the biggest Carolina fan in Carolina that there ever could possibly be. And
that'll be a big one.
I could see it happening. So that's what we got for week 12.
Yeah, they were really my only bad team left, being the Titans, and I looked at the rest of their schedule because now we're close enough where you can start doing that, and I was like, I don't love any of their other games, so I mean, if it's not now, when's it going to happen?
Yeah.
So,
and they're at home, so that's the right time to use them. If you have,
I'm just praying in multiple leagues, praying for Derrick Henry to finally be himself against the Panthers, because I've got him in a couple, and it's just, this is the game that it needs to happen in. So we'll see what happens there. I feel pretty good about mine this week. I didn't want to use Dallas, but truly of the other 10 teams, of the total 10 teams I had left, everyone else either had a much better matchup coming on, or was just like I could go either way. So we'll see what happens. It's a clear 4-way with an outside shot from Mac, 5-way kind of race at the top here, and now we're going to start seeing what happens as everybody feels the little grip closing in when you have to use some of these teams left. So in more exciting Pick'em news, we're killing it in Pick'em stuff this year. With the MinneZona Sports NFL season-long Pick'em, shout out to them again for sending me the Percy Harvin jersey. Much appreciated with that. I wore it last week's episode, so thank you guys. Week 11, Tyler and I both went 9 wins. There were a couple of fluky ones, but for the most part, I think the leader was at 10, so I wasn't far off for a down week, so to speak. That puts Tyler at 107 at sole possession of 5th, so only 4 teams above him there. And then I am, as of last week, I caught the first place guy. I stayed tied at first at 109, so Tyler's in 5th, 2 total points behind.
Yeah, 2 points back.
Not really much. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. We're really hoping that we can at least have one of us catch him. Even if I fall off, if Tyler catches him, I just want one of us on the show to win and have for and stuff. So we kind of talked about it off air, but Tyler mentioned this is a really interesting week. It seemed like a lot of picks last week were chalk, even though obviously it doesn't work out that way. This one feels even more like a lot of 50-50 coin flips. So
it does.
We're gonna see what happens. I will rattle off my picks of the week that I literally just did on the couch off the top of my head, and we'll see if I tinker and change them from there. But for now, three Thanksgiving games. I've got Lions, Cowboys, and 49ers, and then Friday's game. Yeah, there's a Friday game at 2 p.m. for all of those watching. I picked the Dolphins, and then everything else. I got Titans, Texans, Giants, Falcons, Steelers, Colts, Broncos, Cardinals, Eagles, Chiefs, Ravens, Vikings. Before I go into any of the spicy ones, are there any differences you had?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have a few differences and either put myself out of contention or come back.
So you're doing it to swing for it.
A little bit of both, yeah, for sure. Because I might go Carolina over Tennessee just because I can certainly see that happening. I might go Cincinnati over Pittsburgh. I might go Tampa Bay over Indy as
that
well.
Was one I was close on. And potentially I couldn't remember if you said it, and then potentially the Cardinals over the Rams. I went Cardinals, yeah.
Okay,
Rams. Yeah. Cardinals over Rams, yeah.
Yeah. So
they're the underdog, which is weird.
Yeah, it's crazy. Even though they're at home and Kyler's back, blah blah blah. But yeah, so those have been kind of my 3 potential differences just to catch up, but the rest were pretty straightforward.
Yeah, and the only reason I'm leaning Steelers is just, I mean, their defense is great, and they've been playing division-wise, and now we're going to toss in a backup who hasn't played it down ever, so, like, that could make it really, really tough for him, and the Steelers just keep defying the odds. Like, I saw some stats somewhere where it was like they were outgained in every single game through 10 weeks, and they still were, like, 6-3 at the time. I'm like, ha! Crazy. So
yeah, they're listed as there's if you look it up, there's actually an NFL luck ranking if you want to look at that. They have been the luckiest team in the NFL. They haven't scored over 20 points in a game yet.
That's disgusting.
And they're still doing what they're doing. So obviously kudos to their defense, but I'm like, kind of something's got to break at some point.
Yeah.
My lone thing with I may switch to the Steelers myself is they've now fired their offensive coordinator. For those who haven't seen, they fired Matt Canada.
Yeah.
Typically what happens is that very next game, the team very much rallies around whoever the new, they want to come out and absolutely annihilate it. We saw it even with the Raiders. Obviously, it was a whole coaching regime. They came out and just absolutely dominated. So don't get it twisted. Players love to do that. They want to support that new guy or gal or whomever that's coming in. So I will not be surprised if we see a Pittsburgh outburst against a middle of the pack Cincy defense.
A 21 whole points kind of outburst, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
As far as the underdog / close picks, we talked about a few of them already, but I'm going Texans over Jags, which is technically a 47%, which surprised me with how Stroud and the team have been playing. The Jags feel like they've been underperforming, and Texans feel like over, so maybe that's where it is. Giants and Patriots. Giants, what did I pick? Yeah, I picked the Giants, who are technically the 64% favorite, but it seems like neither of them are a favorite. They're just picked the lesser of two. Falcons and Saints, I keep going back and forth on. I went Falcons. They're only the 32% favorites. That's kind of one I'm leaning on, like maybe gaining a game. Also, this is factoring in Carr still being questionable and unsure. So, just waiting to find out what happens there. Broncos over Browns, 53%. Basically a coin flip, but I just think the Broncos are continuing to figure it out. And then Browns have to play another Dorian Thompson, Skyler, Jeffrey Jones, the fifth.
Yeah.
And then Cardinals and Rams. So those are the only spicy ones, but we'll see. It's gonna divide something. I am very confident that I will either be in first or I will have dropped into like fourth or fifth place. So.
Exactly. Agreed.
All right. Moving into a happier note for once, we have swimming upstream next.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming.
This is the first week in like 5 weeks where both of us had a good score, so I'm very happy about that. Even when Tyler outscored me, I'm just like, great, we're good. We know what we're doing, kind of.
Yeah, it's been ugly.
Tyler made the sacrifice to not pick Dobbs and ruin him for us, and he tried to take down the Packers' Jordan Love, but he did well. So 20.88 from a streamer, and then I had 16.94. Don't hate it. The rushing obviously scored me, but that's what I was banking on, so that moves me up to 188.86. Hopefully next week I'll be in the 200s. I'm at QB9 still, but I'm only 3 points behind QB8, so I'm looking to hop up over one or two guys as the last buys and injuries and stuff wrapping up here. And then Tyler's at 141.14, QB19 up to 2 spots. He's only 32 points off QB12, so it seems very, very doable. I feel like, again, there's going to be a handful of guys that you hop over to that are either Burrows and Cousins that you're going to start passing or the bye week guys. So
yeah.
I think there's still a good shot you make QB1, especially once we get into like the final weeks of the season when quarterbacks start getting sat. So just trying to beat our scores from last year, which as we get closer, I'll kind of track those to see if we can beat them.
I'm not going to do that.
I don't think I'm going to even catch yours. I'll definitely catch mine because mine was kind of rough, but I'm just curious to see how close we get so we can at least start tracking the all-time record. For sure. So week 12, I had the first pick, and I am going to take a page out of your book and go Jordan Love versus Detroit. It's in Detroit, and they just seem to always put up way crazier points at home, so I'm expecting them to score and have the Packers have to throw to keep up. On top of that, Aaron Jones is likely going to be out, and they lost their third-string running back too on a kind of goofy play. So other than A.J. Dillon, I just expect them to throw a lot more just to try to keep the ball moving. So that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, I don't know that there was a whole lot. Honestly, I didn't. I totally forgot to even look. So, I think the main one I was looking at was potentially Stafford. Stafford
so I was like, Cup.
Yeah, because I thought that, and I thought Derek Carr as well. So, my gut says I'm probably going to go. I'll go Derek Carr. Obviously, if he's injured, I'll pivot from there. Over to Stafford as long as he plays as well. They said he should be fine from what I've seen. Or I feel like I should just wait like a day and a half because Baker's at like 50.2% owned.
Yeah,
so I need a couple more people to just drop him and I'll be all right. But no, so I'm gonna go with Derek Carr, and if he ends up not passing concussion protocol, which he's in now, I'm gonna take Stafford.
Is there any consideration if Carr is out to roll with Jameis as the streamer?
Slightly, just because he likes to huck and chuck at football.
I thought about it.
But he's a turnover machine, and again, they're playing Atlanta, and they typically like to slow the game down and play at that slower pace, and obviously terrible defense as well. But it just tends to be a less possession game, and pivoting to something like the Rams and the Cardinals, which I think has got very sneaky over potential even without Cup, is why I lean that way. So I'm gonna start with Carr, and if he doesn't play, then I'll switch over to Stafford.
I like it. All right. Moving into some fan interaction stuff. As always, if you leave some YouTube comments, we will shout you out there. We'll cover some of the Facebook comments a little bit later in the podcast. Predictions and stuff like that. We kind of already covered a couple of them from last week, so I won't get into those a ton. Normally, I would do ship it or skip it, but I have fun facts again, and I told Tyler about these on Wednesday last week. I was so excited to share because some of these are bananas. So I've got 3, 7, 8. So we're not going to deep dive into these. They're more just going to be reactions, or if you have any kind of fantasy takeaway, like a 1 to 2 bullet point thing, because I added a lot, but I don't want to wait till next week and then have them not be true anymore. So in no particular,
I've got 1, 2, 3, 8.
This was like my division predictions again. Tyler's like, I did 1 per division. And I go, I did 4 per team. So
yeah.
All right. Fun facts in number 1 in no particular order. You probably saw a graphic on this, but I saw it on Wednesday before the Sunday game with the Chargers, and I just thought it was bananas. The Chargers and Herbert's 59 career starts, including the playoffs. Did you see this points total? 59 career starts, including the playoffs for Herbert's career so far. The team has scored 1,502 points. Guess how many points they've allowed? Also 1,502.
That's
exactly crazy. To the number. So
that's insane.
Balanced, crazy. Clear that their offense is great, but their defense is not doing favors because he can't win games because they can't stop. So number 2, prior to this past week, because I didn't add up Dobbs and Lamar's rushing yards and stuff, but currently on the season, despite being benched and despite like not consistently starting off the year as a starter, Josh Dobbs has more rushing yards than everyone in the league except Lamar Jackson. So that's
I actually did hear that one, and that's absolutely bananas.
In 2 different systems, like
so crazy.
Number 3, the highest point. Okay, this one is more of a guessing thing, which you're not going to know most of them, so I'm going to fill them in. But the highest PPR points per game all time. Any NFL player in their career, like for their career, not just per season, not just per whatever.
Total?
Yeah. So I'm going to 4 through 1. Number 4 is CMC, and this is including quarterbacks, so that's pretty bananas. Number 4 is CMC.
Of any position.
Yeah. Quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end, whatever. Consistently for their career. So, I mean, like maybe quarterbacks and stuff taper off, maybe whatever. But in PPR, CMC is the 4th highest PPR points per game of all time. Number 3 is a replacement player in 1987 who played 3 total games. So we're not going to worry about that a ton because it was fluky. Number 2 is Mahomes, which I think makes more sense as a quarterback. Any idea if you had to throw a dart out there who the number 1 is, and they are a current player?
Oh, they're a current player. Okay, I was like...
I'll narrow it down from the thousands that played before.
And it's not like some fluky sample size. It's somebody who's
actually
useful.
I mean, somebody who's useful. I mean, it's not a several career sample size, several years sample size.
Because I was like, could it be somebody like Keenan? But he's been hurt so much, it can't be him.
It's not a receiver, I'll tell you that.
Oh gosh, it's a running back. Is it like Gronk or something crazy? Oh no, you said current. Is it like Kelsey?
It is Devon Achane.
Oh, points per game. Yeah. I asked if it was a small sample size.
That's why I was like, well, I mean, it is. He's relevant, but it's, So that's crazy stat. Obviously not counting this last one where he got out, but literally currently on pace, and I know he's only played 6 games or whatever it is, but highest points, PPR points per game of all time, above quarterbacks and everybody included. So just goes to show how bananas he is, even besides that 50-plus point week. So
yeah, he's crazy.
This next one, much more relevant due to some injuries this past week, but Zach Charbonnet outsnapped Kenneth Walker in each of the last 3 weeks. I've been talking about that week to week. He would have outscored him, too, if not for Kenneth Walker's 64-yard touchdown over the last 3 weeks. So he's been outscoring him even as Walker's been getting more touches and more snaps. So a little bit less exciting after the last few, but stuff to watch, especially with waivers running. So next ones. Coming into this week, the yard after contact per attempt this year. Who would you guess the leader is? He's ahead of, I'll eliminate some guys, he is ahead of CMC, Breece Hall, Montgomery, and Henry, who route out the top 5.
Contact. I mean, obviously,
yards after contact per attempt.
Yeah, per attempt. I mean, the first one that comes to mind is Javante. But my guess for the actual pick would be Gibbs.
Yep, it is Jahmyr Gibbs. 2.3 yards after contact per attempt.
Dude is slippery.
That's the thing, is like all these other guys, I mean, CMC granted is a receiving.
His contact balance is Kamara-esque.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, CMC is more of a receiving back too, but Brees, Monty, and Henry you picture as like, well, some have breakaway. They're the bruisers and the ones that run through you. So the fact that Gibbs as a rookie is doing this, leading the league, is bananas. So
you watch any of his games and just watch his contact balance. It's absolutely absurd. Mm-hmm. Watching him and Javante and CMC, and like it's insane to see these type of backs. They are not going down to arm tackles ever. And even if you get them semi-wrapped up, they just understand how to stay on their feet, and it's crazy. And obviously Kamara as well, but it's crazy.
Another one coming into this week, a little painful for you as a Falcons fan, but the Falcons, the 3 straight games that they lost to Will Levis in his first career start, Josh Dobbs 5 days after being traded, and Kyler first game back from the ACL tear. So love to see that in games that you probably should win game script wise. So.
I just love that games they feature Bijan, they lose. So all it tells Arthur Smith
Smith's like, see,
look at he's terrible. We just need to sit him on the bench and we win. Like, causation is not correlation. Please stop it.
It makes me so angry. Last 2 relevant to the Vikings. 46 games we've played since the start of 2021. How many of those have been 1-score games?
Out of 46?
Out of 46 in the last 2.5 seasons.
Yeah, I'm going to say like something crazy. Obviously, we did so many this year. So I'm going to say like 31.
Crazier, 36.
Damn it, that's what I was originally going to go with, was literally 36. Then I was like, that seems like too much.
I saw that and was like, good God. I mean, every game is exciting, but it's also just like, could we please not? You're giving me chest pains.
Literally 75% of our games. 36 out of 46, even more than 75%.
And then lastly, rounding it out with the jersey. I didn't even plan this, but I happened to wear a Brady Buccaneers jersey tonight.
Nice.
Brady, in his career for the Patriots, lost 66 games. They have now lost 33 games since he left, half as many as he did in 20 years. So I just let that sit.
I did see
for
that
a second.
And that one that's pulling out.
Right.
You had your time, there. Patriots fans. You had your time.
Yeah.
Now you can just sit on it for the next literally 20 years.
That was the video I sent you. It's not fun anymore now, is it? No, it's not fun.
No, not fun. That's right.
That concludes fun facts for the week. So that's in no particular order. I will continue bringing crazy, bizarre ones that I see while I surf Twitter. So
I love it.
All right, really quickly, we do have a Dynasty download segment, which we usually don't do. I'm not really going to do any analysis on this, but I meant to do this a couple of weeks ago at the midway point. So our Dynasty League, the password is Taco League. We did and shout out to Al for this idea in a different Dynasty League, but we did a preseason power ranking. So I basically texted everybody in the league individually and had them put us all 1 through 12 in order, and then I compiled them anonymously and averaged that out. Sent out some cool, like a document with a bunch of comments and thoughts from different teams, again, anonymously. And I just wanted to see like how accurate it was. So I guess I'm going to run through these by people, and I'm going to say the person I list, that's the order the standings currently are by record and points and blah, blah, blah. And then I'll tell you what they were ranked preseason too, just to see. Mostly are pretty close, but there's a couple that are actually way out.
Actually kind of
yeah. There's a couple that I personally did not do correctly, but we'll get into that. So first, we start out with me. I was the preseason number 1 by literally 1 total vote, so it was very, very close. We have Jordan at number 2. He was preseason 3. Mac at number 3, preseason 2. So we nailed the top 3. That was the kind of clear tier.
Yes.
The next tier, fairly close. There we had one surprise, but with the next 3, we had Glick 4th, and he was ranked at 5. Nate is 5th. He was ranked at 7, so the biggest jump so far at 2. Ben was ranked 6th. Ben is 6th. He was ranked 4, so 2 level drop. Foster is 7. He was ranked 6th. Nailed it there. Nick is 8th currently in records, not necessarily in max points, blah, 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 but he was ranked preseason 12, so he's lucking into some wins despite having low points. Tyler was preseason 9. He is 9, so right on. I actually picked you as like 5 or 6. I had you as one of my playoff teams before things went awry. Well, Jonathan Taylor, we did this prior to that, and yeah. You hate yourself more. I picked myself as like 3, so here we are. Joe was 10. He is 10. Connor was 11. He is 11. And then Josh, who was preseason 8, is actually down at 12 right now. I don't think he'll finish there points-wise, but he's record-wise 12. So just kind of interesting. We mostly did pretty well overall. I'm curious if anybody actually got the order correct. But yeah, so we'll see how that ends up at the end of the season. But we'll try to do that. Something fun for those of you that have Dynasty Leagues out there, just to do more league engagement, kind of save those year to year to see like who's, consistently looked at as teams before the season starts. Now, really quickly, I'll cover the unique leagues because I know we've kind of rattled on for some of these for a while. But first unique league, we don't care about anymore. Bomb Squads and Butt Cheeks. Tyler's teams are at 17 and 14. Mine are at 15 and 17. He went 2 and 1. I went 1 and 2. So we're both way off. At least we're a little bit more separated for my team and his team not catching each other. But the more exciting one, the Guillotine League, we continue. We've done this for 11 weeks now. We asked, did we survive? We did. We're both still in it, so we're 2 out of 7. So that's pretty cool. Goodbye, Sarah, by the way. So sorry. See you later. Thank you. I came into the night technically down by 1 on the cutoff, and there were like 5 teams that all could have lost. And I texted Tyler and I said, let's just get that one A.J. Brown catch out of the way early, and he got it in the second quarter, and that was all he got. So thank God I got there.
That was
but
so insane.
if I would have lost on a 1.8 night from A.J. Brown, I would have screamed because I spent 150 on him last week. So
That's just what I was thinking.
This is 4 weeks in a row that I've been bottom 3 to 4 after leading the league in points all season. And I'm like, I'll just buy more players. Okay, I'll just buy more players. I'm still stressed out. I just want to get to Sunday night and know I'm safe.
Yeah.
I don't need to be a top scorer. I just want to be like, cool, got it, done. Because the teams that are losing look so much grosser on paper, and I'm still almost losing to them. So, end rant. Some good players cut by Sarah. We went running backs this week. So, Travis Etienne, Tony Pollard, Brian Robinson, Devin Singletary, Stephon Diggs, Kenneth Walker. Don't know what the situation with his injury is going to be necessarily, if he's out long term, but we'll see if he gets picked up or not. Not a whole lot in the world of wide receiver. Gross at quarterback and tight end. So, love Josh Jobs, but you're not starting him when you're a top 8 team remaining in Guillotine. So, big bids from last week that we didn't discuss. I ended up getting A.J. Brown, as I mentioned, for 147. I think I outspent the next guy by like 20, so that felt good. I also got Mark Andrews for what I told Tyler was a steal after waivers ran for just $47. I'm like, I'm locking up him, and then I'm going to have backup tight end. I'll be great. I got him for a day, so that was cool.
And then started
Justin
him,
Jefferson
got 2
went
points.
Yeah. He was doing so well too, and I even was like, this is great because the first week they play, the Bengals are bad against tight ends, and he was like, boom, 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 3 catches right off the bat, like going down to the red zone, and Justin Jefferson went for 103. That was probably a steal, depending on when he comes back if you survive, because he could now be held out this week, and then there's a bye. So I mean,
I think
kind of a gamble.
Week 14.
Yeah, and then because we should win, so we shouldn't need him.
Right.
And then Jalen Waddle, 66. How he's playing doesn't seem worth that, but what his potential is solid for that. So, I'll let you talk about your team's thoughts with surprises and unique thoughts.
Yeah, nothing crazy for mine. Mine has been relatively consistent, knock on all the wood that ever existed as we get down to these. But like I said last week, the main thing I needed was really Lamar to step up. And he played well on Thursday against the Bengals. And my running backs did well amidst a couple bye weeks. So I was safe. I scored the most points, so I didn't really have too much sweating to do. I should be hopefully good this week as well. I got full squad this week, and then I move into danger territory in week 13. So I got Lamar, Saquon, Addison, and T.J. Hawkinson all on bye. So backup quarterback, backup tight end, never good when you're down to the end in what would be essentially a top, what would that be, 5 scenario. A lot of other teams are obviously going to be stacked. So should be good this week. Very nervous for next week.
The positive for you is I also am missing my quarterback that week with Josh Allen on bye. So, I mean, that evens out with people. But, that's the last bye week. The only downside with this one, because I looked at my team too and went, yes, nobody on bye. Like, that gives you a little advantage.
There's some week 14 buys.
True. But as far as this week, I thought I'd have the edge, and there's teams that are on bye. So everybody's at full strength. That made me disappointed. But for the second week now, since I added my new Lions additions, Montgomery and Amon-Ra just continue to dominate, so that felt great. Derrick Henry has been disappointing for like a month now, so that's concerning me because I don't feel like I have much better running back options, so I got to start him. Like I said, I'm angry about losing Mark Andrews. That almost cost me the week. I don't know if I should feel confident with Taysom Hill. I mean, I'm not going to pick anybody up this week, but like, is he somebody you would be like, I'm good starting just because of the upside? Because tight end's a ghost land. I don't know. So
I don't know either. That's a tough one. They seem to get away from the featuring they were doing of him. They were giving him rushing attempts, and they were giving him a couple under center and letting him pass the ball. And he had 1 week he had like 6 receptions. So it's just so fluky. You just never know. But if they get inside the 5-yard line, like Taysom's getting the ball at least once, which is crazy.
And I feel like the usage just went away 2 weeks ago because Carr was hurt. So I'm hoping with him back, they won't worry about it. The entire rest of my lineup, like all key players, bench guys included, are pass bys except Josh Allen. I've got Kyler. I picked him up for a reason because I think he'll be solid. So I won't lose the quarterback advantage that week over 6 other teams. Get Kyron Williams back this week, who I stashed like 6 weeks ago. So I'm pumped about that. Dude's averaged 18 points through the first 6 weeks before he got hurt. And they cut Darrell Henderson today. So it very clearly is like, yep, he's our guy, moving on.
Yeah, he's ready.
I have kind of like a bunch of like tier 2 flex guys between Nick Collins, Gus Bus, Mostert, Hollywood, JSN, but I feel like I would love one more alpha guy because none of them feel great, and I feel like I'm going to pick somebody wrong every week. So we'll see if I can get somebody. I got like $160 left, and we'll go from there. So best ball, I won. I'm up to 6-5. I'm still in 7th place. I've been in 7th place purgatory for like 4 weeks. I was the top scorer of the week though, even with Jonathan Taylor on bye. So that felt really, really good. Like, hey, my team can do it. 5 of us, Tyler mentioned, are at 6-5. The top 2 are at 9-2 and pretty much locked in and not going to be caught. So there's 5 teams fighting for 4 spots, which means someone's probably going to miss the playoffs with like a winning record, which is silly.
Yeah, that's crazy.
As far as quick thoughts for my team, Jalen Warren and Gus Bus look like end of season league winners for best ball for me. Good steals. Kyler might save my season because I lost Daniel Jones, and Geno Smith may as well have been lost weeks ago. And then, once again, I talked about this last week or the week before, but I'm a very top-heavy team. My starters put up 175. My bench, not counting 13 points from Geno, put up 20 total points. And if you're wondering if that's a normal bench, no, it's a 19-player bench. So I have a few IRs and a few buys, but 20 points from 19 players doesn't feel good. So that's my team anyway.
Yeah, it's certainly not great. Mine's kind of the same way. Mine's relatively top heavy. Not as much, but mine pretty much go as Lamar and my receivers go. My receivers go. I mean, I got James Cook as well, and he's started to come on, but there are certainly some iffy ones there. I have Singletary as well, so obviously that's helping currently. But then having Amon-Ra St. Brown and Godwin and Myers, who's obviously fallen off as well, has been super helpful for me, and Diggs when he decides to play. So my receivers pretty much prop me up every week, and then it's kind of Lamar whether I get 140 or 170. So it's going to be close. I'm 6-5 and in 3rd. So again, we talked about the schedule look that I've had. So I think I have the 2nd most points, if not the most points. So I should make the playoffs, but again, it's going to be close if I run into some more schedule luck here these last couple of weeks.
There's 12 teams. Almost half of them are my record. If somebody could just lose the same week that I win, then great.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, DFS. Finally, we'll get into some more stuff for that in a little bit. But as always, weekly challenge. Scores added up the entire season. Top 3 get paid. The top 3 scores of the week, shouting them out. We had Brandon, 169. Nick, he has been in the tops 3 several times and then fallen off other times, so he's up and down. But Nick was at 163, and then Jared 153. So the top 5 through my super official, unofficial tracking spreadsheet through the season so far did not change. Not only has it been the top 5 for like the last 5-6 weeks, but literally the exact same place hasn't changed. So Tyler 1667, Ben 1650, Jordan 1562, Ryan 1553, and me 1519 on a kind of down week. So that rounds those out. The quick top fire/value picks that I picked of the week. Trevor Lawrence 32 points on only 6,000. Very, very nice. Jalen Warren 26.5 on 5,100. Calvin Ridley finally gets a bounce back, 34 points with 5,400. And then George Kittle 6,400, a little bit more expensive for a tight end, but he got 22.9. Every other tight end only got 12 or less points. So if you started him, you literally started out at a 10-point advantage over the entire field. So we'll discuss a little bit more of that in the betting corner once we finally get to it. But now we have matchup recap.
Perfect. So jumping into the Victoria's Secret League for Week 11, just rattling off winners. So I took down Ben Jordan over Foster, Cassie over Alex, Jay over Walters, Josh over Jack, and then Glick over Ryan. So Ben stayed in first. I moved up to tie with him for first. So we're both at 15 and 7. Ben has the points tiebreaker by, I think, 20 or 30 points or something like that. Jordan, Alex, and Josh are respectively 3rd through 5th, all at 13 and 9, just with, again, points tiebreaker. So Jordan started off slow, got all his injured people back, and JT and Brees, and so now he's been rolling. So he's up to 3rd. And then Jack, you're still holding down that 6th spot, 11 and 11, still
I'm
in
telling
playoffs.
you, 500 just.
And then, but he's in 6th himself, but he's tied with Glick and Foster, who are also at 11 and 11. So what is that? 3 weeks left. So he got no more room for slip-ups, Jackaroo.
Yeah, I know. The worst part, too, you want to talk about schedule looking best ball. You and I, even after this week that I sucked, are separated by 13 points, and yet there's this
Crazy.
gap of 6 wins. So I'm just playing the wrong teams at the wrong times. But I haven't been below 500 since, like, all season, pretty much. So I'm hoping I can just keep staying boop, 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 boop. But moving to the Dynasty Leagues, I will hop into deflate these balls first. Terrible week for me. I'm down to 7 and 4. I'm hanging on to the 6th place spot. That's kind of a top 6 or 7 as well. It's probably going to come down to me versus you for the final playoff spot because you're right behind me in 7th. I looked at the schedules out of curiosity to see who had the advantage. We both play Crasp's team and we both play Al's team in either next week or the final week. But then we play each other week 13. So, like, assuming we'll both.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I was like, wow, that we play the exact identical schedule, just each other. So I have the 1-game lead. I'm playing Al this week, and I feel like he's the tougher team. So if I slip and you win, we're tied, and it decides it by week 13. If I win or if you lose this week, it might be a little bit different because I think I might have the points barely. But week 13 could be very, very interesting. So pretty much dead even on points. And yeah, so that's what I'm looking at with mine.
Yeah, mine was no better. I had a terrible week. I scored 63 points, so it was absolutely Foster destroyed me, so I didn't really have a chance anyway. So 6 and 5 and still in 7th. So haven't moved a lot. And pretty much going to come down to the last couple of weeks.
But you're doing much better in Taco.
Yeah, it's
Killing
fantastic. I'm doing exactly what I'm trying to do. I continue to lose. I think I scored like 78 or 80 points or something like that, and it's been wonderful. I tried to tank with Tommy DeVito, and he's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'm Patrick Mahomes," and he scored fucking 30 points. So that was super fun. That was pretty brutal. I can't believe that actually happened. But I'm still on track for a top 3 pick essentially, because Joe's team is still in the 1.1 spot, but his team went bananas this last week and scored like 125. Yeah. So he was up by like 60, and now he's not up.
It closed real quick.
Yeah, it closed real quick. So the bottom 3 of us are all separated by I think 5 points, maybe 10. So it's gonna be crazy who can out tank the other for some of these top picks. But I'm essentially guaranteed, I would say, a top 3 pick with what I have left. So I'm okay with it. I got no issues being one of the top 3.
That's the thing is I have no idea who else I would even be looking at in the top 3 pick after Marvin Harrison. So if you give me 2 or 3, I'm like, I don't know what player I'm going for at that point.
Plenty.
So quarterbacks wise, but I don't know enough of the tier break. So it'll be interesting. Which it seemed like last year it was pretty much after the top 5, which granted Quentin Johnson didn't work out to be anything. But yeah, so it'll just be curious to see like where that divide drops to, if it's top 3, top 4, top 7, whatever. So
you can go as team A. You can go Emeka Egbuka for the other receiver. The LSU receiver Malik Neighbors is going to be probably your top 3 as far as those go, and then obviously Caleb Williams and Drake May. But most 1 quarterback leagues, you're probably not going to go there. But there's going to be lots of running backs as well. Blake Corum from Michigan will be up there. Travion Henderson will be up there as well from Ohio State. So there's going to be a lot of Ohio State guys that go in kind of that top 6.
Right now I'm looking at the 104 and like a 106 to 108 range that I'll have. So
you'll have options there still.
But I don't know what to take. What do you get the man who has everything? I don't.
Anyways,
speaking of Taco,
my team is too good. I don't need any of these players.
And Joku's my worst. I need to trade him because he's one of my OG guys.
There you go. Go get Brock Bowers. Go get Brock Bowers.
That honestly, if he would be my only, like my obvious one, just because look what happens when Andrews gets hurt, and then I have no backup plan. So
he might. Yeah, I was like, he might get drafted higher. Well, he might get NFL draft. He might get drafted higher.
Oh yeah, he's going to be high. Yeah.
He might get
Yeah,
drafted.
he's looking at like a
fourth,
top 5 already. Right.
which is crazy. And Pitts went 8th,
Yeah.
6th, something like that.
6th.
Whatever.
Yeah. 5,
Brock
6,
Bowers
yeah.
is absurd. Like
Mhm.
he would have been the number 1 tight end as a true freshman coming out, which is insane.
Truly,
He's a
for me,
stud.
I will probably end up going him, or I will be the first person to take a quarterback just so I can have a better backup
For sure.
than apparently Bryce Young. So, as far as my taco side, I had a 120-point win this week, so better than the last 2 weeks where I had like 98 and 102. So that felt good. I moved up to 10-1. I'm coming for max record of 12 wins last season. I'm in first now. Jordan and Glick both lost, who are the 2 and 3 teams, so that gives me a little bit more breathing room. Max also tied at third. So I did just lose Mark Andrews, which obviously not only hurts me at tight end, but it also hurts me at quarterback because I had the stack going on with Lamar, so that's not ideal. My next 3 weeks, I've got Tyler, so I'm going to happily contribute to trying to help Tyler tank, and then Jordan as a battle of the top 2 teams, and then Nick. So should have 2 wins in there, even if I lose to Jordan. That should guarantee I have a top 2 seed and get the bye, but it would be nice to have the number 1 also. So we'll see what happens there. Still a lot of variety.
Yeah, totally unrelated note. Good. If whoever in the league has Mahomes or Jalen Hurts and wants to trade him my way for a week or 2, I feel like I might activate a couple people here and just take Jack down a notch, just because it sounds like fun. So, not collusion at all. Just trade him to me. I need a rental. I just want to test it out, see if I'm on a trade with him.
Let's check out what having a quarterback's like.
Yeah,
let's see how.
Let me kick the tires.
That's gonna be just kick my teeth down my throat and be like, I don't want to win. I just had to remind you that I can beat you whenever I want to. All right. Moving into add/drop it like it's hot segments. Key waiver targets. I'm not going to list the top 3 every single week because most of you guys know who they are, or they're boring. So I'm only going to pick them if they're actually like notable. No quarterbacks that excite me. They all suck. So running backs wise, Zach Charbonnet is only 32%. He's going to skyrocket this week because if Walker misses more than 1 week, Charbonnet's already been outplaying him and out touching him and snapping. So I think this team would likely enjoy leaning on him a lot if they can. And then Jeff Wilson is kind of a sneaky snash. He's only 20% owned, but they just put Salvin Ahmed on IR, and then Achane might be hurt again. So could be the number 2, and it seems like they can sustain 2 running backs pretty easily in that offense. Receivers wise, Tutu Atwell, 25%, only because Kupp is now dealing with an ankle injury again. So could be interesting. He could be up in like a flex wide receiver 3 range. Jaden Reed shocked me that he's only at 18%. The rookie's been playing really, really well. He's been doing better than Christian Watson, and he's been kind of split with Romeo Doubs. So that combined with the Aaron Jones injury I talked about earlier, they might just continue to throw more. And then lastly, Jameson Williams. Tyler called him on the DFS stuff this last week, but 14% owned. He had a mini breakout last week. He's increased his snaps the last 3 weeks in a row, and they have a very easy schedule for receivers coming up. Lastly, tight ends with Mark Andrews likely out for the season. Isaiah Likely, 1% owned. This week especially, the Chargers are the 5th worst team against tight ends, and Likely has averaged 13.1 points per game this past season when he was the starter for those 5 games. So should be very, very good, better than any other dart throw out there, at least unless you have a better option. As far as big money ads from last week, the only real notable one was Cassie adding Josh Dobbs for $20. I don't know what our quarterback situation is like, but I think that's pretty solid for the rest of the year. You could easily start him and be happy with it. So nothing for Jack of all trades. Really quick on the notable injuries. I will run through these and then we'll get to the last segment. So Gino, elbow, he's questionable for Thursday. I'd be surprised if he plays, being a short week. Devon Achane, knee, questionable. They called it precautionary. I feel like he'll end up missing this week just to see what happens. Even if it doesn't turn into more. Kenneth Walker, oblique injury, questionable. He left the first drive of the game and he was out the entire week. So I'd be shocked if he plays this week. He could be a candidate for like missing a couple weeks or maybe turn into IR. Pete Carroll called it, legit was the injury that he called it.
They called it legit, but not an IR candidate.
Yeah, so we'll see if he kind of just continues to be questionable week to week. Yeah. Aaron Jones, knee questionable. Dude just can't stay healthy this year, so he probably is missing this week. Deonta Foreman.
Sprained MCL came out today, so he's probably missing at least this week, if not 2. It wasn't torn. He thought it was torn. He said it was torn, and then they did imaging, and it wasn't torn. So sprained MCL, usually at least 2 weeks.
They were like, quit being a baby, it's not torn.
Right. He's like, it's torn. They're like, it's fine.
Deonta Foreman, ankle injury, questionable. Cooper Kupp, ankle, and he left the second quarter, so he missed a substantial amount of the game. Questionable, probably going to be week to week again, which McVay always called it in the preseason. And then Mark Andrews, likely out for the season. There's an outside chance, apparently, that he'll play. I don't know what that's going to mean, but it's probably going to be past the playoffs. So, all right, we're in the betting corner now.
Perfect. Well, this is perfect and this is fun. So, I took down Jack in our DFS this last week. So,
that's right. I should probably start that.
So while he's sitting there and getting ready, I did my push-ups. So like again, we're doing these kind of ladders, but Jack doesn't have shoulders, so
My left shoulder.
so he can't do push-ups. So he's gonna get ready and do some sit-ups while I fix.
I don't
my
have the
camera
fancy
and I'll let him get ready.
AirPods like you, so I'm not going to hear you. But you just wave at the camera when you're done talking, and I'll just go from there.
Okay.
So
Perfect. I'm gonna hit this.
I might just stay down here. Yeah.
All right. I don't know. I'm having fun. I'm just gonna watch this happen. Oh, okay. Oh, wow, that's right. I'm supposed to be doing something. Okay. So, so week 11, pretty light week, but it was a good week. So I went 2-0. My 2 bets, so plus 2.2 units. So got 1 unit and then a plus money. So we're 26 and 17 on the year. So we're plus 11.96 units. So put that in context. If you're $10 unit better, you're up $119, $120 on the year. If you put $10 on all of mine, just following the tail them. So for my week 11, I was in the Carolina and Dallas game for both of mine. I had Adam Thielen over 6.5 receptions for plus money. So it was plus 120 and he got over that. And I had CD over 5.5 receptions at like minus 145. So I got that. So plus 2.2 units and we move on to week 12. So love getting Thanksgiving bets in. And now we get another game for Friday, so Black Friday. Not a lot of bets out there yet. They're still kind of coming out slowly, but some of the ones that I'm targeting, I'm going to look at the Brian Robinson over rushing and receiving line. His rushing line is at like 38.5, but he's actually been contributing a lot as a receiver here over the last few games, and 6 and 7 receptions the last couple games. So look for that combined rushing and receiving line, especially if Antonio Gibson is out again. Target that one. I'm looking for a Hollywood Brown bounce back in a much easier matchup. He's had 2 tough matchups, so I think he's going to be a good candidate for receptions and yardage this week. I'm also going to look at Kelsey's receptions over 6.5 if it opens there. If it's at 7.5, it's going to be a no play for me. But I think they're going to get back on the same page, and again, they're going to destroy the Raiders and play it indoors. I'm also looking at the Ravens overs for the Chargers. And Jack, I'm going to take the over-under. He has 2.5 plates of food on Thanksgiving, so we'll bring him back. That was fun.
1,001, 1,002. I don't know if you heard me counting. I did over 1,000.
I kind of forgot you couldn't hear me, so it was
I
enjoyable.
saw you smiling, and I was like, I don't know if he's done or if he's just telling a joke.
Yeah.
Well,
so the add-on here, the over-under Jack is 2.5 plates of food on Thanksgiving. Yeah. So I forgot to bring it back and get the odds. Let's see here. Over and under 2.5 plates of food. I feel like you're definitely a 2-plate guy, so I'm getting to that extra half to see what it is. Depends on what that half plate is. Are you going back for more turkey and ham and potatoes, or just more potatoes?
I probably don't go do 2 servings of turkey. Yeah, I definitely would do 2 servings of like potatoes and stuffing. Though,
yeah, so. That's kind of what I figured. So I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna put. It feels pretty split, but I'm gonna put the over at even money at plus 100, and I'm gonna take the under at like minus 120. So I think you just tap out after 2, and you're like, no, I don't want to hate myself because I still got beer to drink and things like that. So I'm gonna juice to the under.
Joke's on you guys. I put 3 plates worth of food on 1 plate, and I just
that's
lazy.
1 plate.
Only go up once.
Jack's gonna eat like a bird, and just to make sure he gets to his 3 plates, he's gonna put 1 thing.
Here's my turkey. Each. What are you guys having? Yeah. All right. Well, now that I'm definitely not out of breath and my lower abdominal hurts,
have fun.
My DFS targets. Right. That's what we're in now. Cool. Mm-hmm. So last week I took 8th. A little bit of a downer. I was only 19 points out of the top 5, so it was very kind of bunched up towards the middle with the top 3 way above us. So I had wins with Kyler at 23 points, Montgomery with 18, Singletary with 23, and Tank Dell with 32. All guys I believe I mentioned on the last week's episode, I was very clearly locking them in from the start. I had losses with 2 receivers. Christian Kirk, 8 points. He had a shot for a big play earlier in the game, but everything went to Ridley, so that was sad. And then Hollywood Brown, 3. I just need to stop playing him. I really thought Kyler would look his way more.
It's been
And then
brutal.
lastly, Devon Achane, I pivoted from Tony Pollard. They were the exact same dollar amount, and Achane got me 1.5, and Pollard, a week after I started him in DFS, blew up. So that was fun. As far as the budget options I like this week, to round things off, quarterbacks, I'm going to keep sticking with Kyler. I've started him the last 2 weeks. 6,900, so prices are increasing week to week as he proves it, but this week has 12 of the 32 quarterbacks missing off the main slate with all the Thanksgiving and Friday games, so not as many options, even with no buys, and then Kyler has 2 rushing touchdowns in the last 2 games, so feel good that he's clearly moving still. And then if you want a cheaper option, Gardner Minshew, 5,100 versus the Tampa Bay pass funnel, so I like them if you're trying to save some money or maybe do a Michael Pittman stack who I like this week, so. Running backs, I've got Isaiah Pacheco, 6,200 versus the Raiders. Rashad White, 6,100 versus the Colts D, who's allowed 97 or more yards per game, or yards each game rushing in the last 4 weeks. Rashad White also has 5 straight double-digit performances, so it's not pretty, but he gets it done. And then Jerome Ford, 5,600, a little bit more cheap option. We have a matchup of the team that runs the ball the most versus the team allowing the most rushing yards per game this week. So that combined with them starting the rookie under center who looked terrible, I think they're going to lean on Jerome Ford a bit more. And then we've got receivers and tight ends. So Nico Collins, 6,000. I get Tank Dell as the dude. I get he's going crazy, but $900 less, and I think Collins is still going to get plenty of workload. And then I've got a split cheap option of Rondale Moore or Greg Dortch, 3,600 and 3,300 for the Cardinals versus the Rams. Pick, I guess, whoever you want. I think they're just easy ways to fit guys in and then get some stars on the top. So lastly, we're continuing the Cardinals train, so I'm clearly doing a stack this week. Trey McBride, 4,700. The price is still not rising on him. It's been very low despite the breakout. He's got 41 targets over the past 5 weeks, including Kyler looking his way as the first read consistently. For context, Kelsey's price is like almost double Trey McBride. So I get he's Kelsey, but like you're going to spend 9,000 plus to have Kelsey in your lineup. Like, And then lastly, defense. I got the Chiefs, 3,100 versus the Raiders. Very, very cheap option. If I can get a 3,000-ish range, I feel good. So yeah, that's my picks for the week.
Love it.
All right, now we're going to move into the silly, funny draft segment. So really quick, we're going to welcome in our new guest co-host at the time, Nick. Say hi to the folks. Say hi to Mom, whatever you want to do.
Hi, thanks for having me. It's my first podcast appearance, so be gentle.
Tell the folks anything about yourself, fun fact or fantasy or not or whatever. Thanksgiving.
Fun fact, I guess, would be in our Dynasty League right now, me and Tyler are in a bit of a tank off. So that's been fun, keeping it interesting this season.
I'm glad I'm on the left screen because I don't want to be in the middle of you two. I feel like the tensions are hot. So I can't wait for Joe.
We're not even the bottom 2 picks.
I know. I can't wait for Joe to accidentally do
down
that
at the bottom.
It's crazy. Well, perfect. Nick's just out here trying to be the back-to-back punishment and do the Blazing Challenge again because
he just really enjoys wings.
He just love that hot sauce.
I was tearing up after trying it last year, so no thanks. All right. Well, really quick on the recap. So we last week had all compiled votes between the groupies and the Facebook stuff. Tyler won at a vote of 12-9. So I really felt very strong about my picks. I'm very, very sad that I didn't get the best movie sequel votes. I couldn't believe the amount of people on Facebook only picking his, but I guess I don't have enough nerdy friends on my Facebook group, or Facebook friends. So
that's right.
Fun fact, the unofficial score we started adding in for Reddit this week. I started posting it on. It doesn't count. Tyler won because we are only doing it in ours versus strangers. But I was like, let's toss it out on Reddit because maybe we'll actually get like more than 20 votes, which would be cool. We had a total of 275 votes on Reddit in just a 4-day span. Jack's team won 226-49. So the rest of the fans listening, this is bullshit. But yeah, so we're going to keep doing that just to see what the masses think and if it lines up with our friend group.
So you got young whippersnappers that use Reddit. All those old people don't even know what it is.
That's the thing. The people that use Reddit are the ones that watch Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. So
Lord of the Rings, and I'm like, I've never even seen it.
It's not a point in your favor. Quick shout outs to some unique takes because I love listening to a few of these. One person on Reddit, the first person to comment within like 10 minutes of me posting goes, "Who gives a fuck about Top Gun?" Like, that was aggressive, but also like 4 different people came out in the
Lots
comments
of
to
people.
defend me, and they were like, it's rated in the 90th percentile of Rotten Tomatoes. It won an Academy Award for like music that year. It was the top 5
Right.
grossing domestic movies of all time. I'm like, it's a weird hill to die on, but I just thought it was funny. So,
That's good.
Pat had a whole explanation on Facebook about how your team built on the originals better, but he liked my team's movies better in a vacuum, and I just thought it was like super well explained, because I was like, I actually agree with all of this. I would have picked Tyler's too if that's how I thought about it. So shout out to Pat. Always
It was
give him
a very Patches response.
He gives the hard analysis while everybody else is like,
Oh yeah,
team 2.
He goes into it.
Katie, she said she was biased with her puppy being named after a character. That's BS, not fair. I
was like, you had no chance with that one. Literally, our dog is named Maverick after Top Gun.
going 2 years with Katie saying she doesn't know whose team is whose, but has never picked my team once.
That's because you have shitty picks.
I win a lot of them, but just not by Katie's support. So sorry, I didn't name my puppy Frodo, and I could have gotten a vote because it was a puppy named after it. And then Mac, shout out with him picking Shrek 2. That was you had that as an honorable mention, but that's a very strong one. So
that's a great
love
movie.
those. Season 2's total is now Jack 5, Tyler 3, so he's closing the gap again a little bit. We got to shut that down here. And we also haven't had a guest host win a draft yet, so we're going to keep that streak going too. But in our official random generator off screen, Nick gets the first pick, and we are doing best Thanksgiving foods. For those of you that didn't know, we're not doing beverages. We're just doing Thanksgiving foods, and we're going to see if we can come up with 12. So, Nick, take it away.
All right. So with the 101, could go a couple options here, but I think I have to go with the item that we clarified pre-draft that is its own item, and that is gravy.
Ooh.
You use it on everything. It makes everything better. Mashed potatoes, turkey. Turkey's dry on its own. Throw it on your stuffing, and then mop it up with your buns or rolls after you're done with your plate. I think it's what makes the rest of it great.
I wasn't in until the explanation, and now I'm getting more and more convinced. So
yeah, I was so far out on that being the 1.1, and it sounded really good. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a gravy guy. I don't put gravy on my mashed potatoes. I don't mind it, but I don't do it. I was like gravy. I'm like, nah. And he started getting to it. I'm like, fuck, I need some gravy.
I make up for Tyler's difference. I put gravy on the mashed potatoes, the turkey, the gravy.
Yeah,
there's some that gets on the cornbread dish. Whatever, we're good. That's fine.
Yeah, so. It's like it gets over a little bit of everything, and it just makes it all that much better. And I don't know. I feel like without it, stuff just is a little too dry and just not as good.
I think it's the dark horse pick for the top, but I feel like without it, Thanksgiving would it's the very iconic Thanksgiving pick. So that's. Shout out to you for being bold and going with it, because I can see an argument. That being said, I am going to go with what my 101 was, which could very well be not other people's 101s, but I am going with mashed potatoes because I'm obsessed with those, and I can eat plate after plate of them, and especially if they're like the homemade ones, like actual peel, like get that instant mashed potatoes in a bag stuff out of here. But real mashed potatoes with the lumps and stuff, so good. You get the butter going on there. You get a little bit of gravy with it. I don't get gravy in my pick because Nick took it. But
gravy-less mashed potatoes.
Yeah, I'll put that in the poll. Gravy-less, and everyone will be like, "What's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
But mashed potatoes is my 101. I had some pivots if you went with it, but I am very happy to get it as my 102.
That was going to be my 101 if gravy was not its own item.
I'm so glad we talked about that before. That worked out both ways. Suck it, Tyler. Enjoy 103.
I'm like, this is the worst. Like, I can't believe on Thanksgiving I have to take turkey. Somebody's gotta take it.
Do.
I can't let you have mashed potatoes and turkey on Thanksgiving. So I don't have a choice.
I agree.
So I have to take. So I have to take
one
turkey,
for the team.
You're the GM being
you're
a
welcome.
safe pick, doing what you're supposed to take instead of the franchise turnaround.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a few different routes that I could go here, and I know what I want to go. But my heart and what I eat even more of, because so give me all the dinner rolls, give me all the biscuits, give me everything that has to do with that. I think I eat more dinner rolls than I do turkey.
Yeah, that's fair. We make them.
Give me the turkey and give me all the rolls and biscuits.
Yeah, especially like we make the ones it just keeps like rising over the afternoon and stuff, and they just like It
may not be the correct fourth pick, but
I don't know.
I'm staying true to myself there. That felt right.
I was between that and the other one I'm going to take, which is a little bit more divisive. I think everybody's in on the dinner rolls. So, and yeah, for context, anybody listening there, if he's taking dinner rolls, we're not going to be like, well, I get biscuits, well, I get muffins. Like, you just get the dinner roll, the dinner bread.
I get rolls / biscuits.
Yeah. So, I'm going with, actually, and I'm biased because it's my team, but this is truly my 102. It's my other favorite thing on the dish.
Yeah.
Depending on who makes it, because I love Christine's and I love her side of the family, but I've had some gross ones. So those of you out there that are like, I'm not a big this guy, I get it, but it depends on who it's made by. But I love stuffing so much. So I'm going stuffing as 102, especially if you do it the correct way, where you're like,
not a stuffing guy.
If you're baking the turkey and then you put the stuffing inside of it to like also marinate and stuff in there, makes the turkey taste better, makes the stuffing taste better because it's like more moist, less dry. Take it out, devour that stuff. It's got crunchy, it's salty, it's the other like iconic Thanksgiving food to me, along with turkey. So yeah, feel very good with stuffing and mashed potatoes.
Yeah, fair.
Stuffing was up there for me too. That is an iconic one.
Okay.
Back to back for Nick now after the long wait. And I don't know what's left anymore, so
I don't either.
Update my list here.
This is when it gets interesting. Okay, this is probably my top 2 favorite. I'm gonna go with corn casserole. So you get the corn with like the cornbread top and everything like that. You get your veggies mixed in there, but in a delicious way. So that's going to be my second pick.
I like that. That was my hoping it snuck back.
And then with the next pick, I could go a couple routes here, but I'm going to get some carbs going. Don't have any of those yet. So I'm going to go with sweet potato casserole.
Oh,
I get like the brown sugar and, marshmallows and all that kind of stuff on there. And I'm going to go with that with my 103.
I like it whenever I've had it, but I don't think at my family's Thanksgivings that anybody really makes it. So I don't know that I have it very often.
All right.
But I like it. Now we're getting into the gray territory here. I don't know where to go. I'm gonna ask this one, and you guys have to tell me which way we can go. If I just pivot from the whole like main course options and I go dessert, if I take pie, do I have to specify a pie and you take the other pies, or am I just getting pie?
I think you have to specify the kind. I would say.
That's a good question.
I have two on my list.
I do too. That's why I was wondering, because I'm assuming we're all just going to take a pie. So
I was like, I have like 9 pies on my list. So.
Tyler drafted best pies, so
I love.
Okay, as then that changes things because then I have to pick like a Thanksgiving-ish themed pie.
Yeah,
I'm not out here taking like key lime, for example. I am going a pie because I hate everything else that's left, but. There's a few on my list. Like, obviously, I'm thinking, like, pumpkin pie is very divisive. You either love it or you think it's disgusting. I'm between 2 others, and I'm very, very torn. You guys would say French silk is, like, a classic Thanksgiving pie, right?
Yeah,
probably. Does that fall into the Thanksgiving ones? Because I'm between that, which is better, and a much more Thanksgiving-y pie. So,
well, there you go.
I'll stay on brand. I'll go the Thanksgiving one. I'm leaving French silk on the board, which is probably the mistake. I'm going with, like, my wife makes these homemade too, and they're super good. But I'm going with the pecan pie.
It's a good pick. I definitely think that's more Thanksgiving than French silk.
Now, Tyler's going to tell me why it's the worst because he hates everything I pick. Go ahead, Tyler.
That is exactly right, because pecan pie is horrible, and French silk pie is absolutely my favorite pie when it comes to Thanksgiving.
I just didn't feel like it was Thanksgiving. I just felt like it was, like, any time pie.
That's the only time I eat
pie.
French silk pie.
Oh, okay.
I've never once had French silk pie on any day besides Thanksgiving.
Well, there you go. It's not pumpkin, so there we go.
But he doesn't go with it anyway.
I'm gonna take 2 pies. No, I won't.
Yeah, right. No, because the only other side that I could possibly think of that happens to be at near every Thanksgiving is mac and cheese.
This was the one pre-starting the draft segment that I was like, this doesn't feel like Thanksgiving. It just feels like a side they have, but it's a staple.
Every
exactly. Yeah, that's why I was like, I don't know what
staple.
should do. So yeah, I agree
See,
with
I feel
I
like
got
that's like a
turkey,
north
rolls,
versus
and
south thing because I've never been to a Thanksgiving with mac and cheese.
Yeah,
Really?
and most
Oh,
of
man.
mine aren't either, but I've seen it there. And then any list I looked up was like mac and
Always.
cheese, and I go, I feel like you would need to put more into it. Like it's got to be like a mac and cheese bake or a casserole thing. If it's just a dish of mac and cheese, and I'm like, well, I had this last Tuesday. Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I agree because I saw it everywhere on the list. So
Yeah. And then I think the last one that I got to go, as much as I would love to take French silk pie, the only other Thanksgiving-y thing that I don't even like, but people absolutely love or absolutely hate is cranberry sauce.
yeah, I'm not a cranberry sauce guy.
Mhm.
Don't know
I can't
anything
speak
about
on
it,
it.
but it's the only Thanksgiving words that I have left.
It's the worst to me because
There's a couple others, but that's the
Yeah.
only other one that there's people that love cranberry sauce.
yeah,
I don't get it,
die hard with
but
it.
there's people
Well,
that
so-
love it. So
It's
that's
so
what
weird
I'm
because it
that's what I'm
comes
hoping.
like jellied, where it's just I had to take them out
People-
and get them
I don't
ready in
get
the
it.
dishes on my wife's side, and she was like, "Can you get the cranberry sauce ready?" And I was like, "Sure." Can open. Yeah, I'm like,
Again,
enjoy. Take
I
a
don't get it.
spoonful of that.
I don't get it. People
So,
enjoy it, but
Not for me.
It's a good palate cleanser.
Is that
There you go.
Are you a cranberry sauce guy? Is that we have someone on
I
the
like
show?
it. Well, yeah. I mean, and there's obviously different versions. You got that jellied one you're talking about, or just like the regular, actually homemade
sure
like
people can make it
sauce
well.
version and stuff. But
That would probably be better. I'd be down for that because I could put it on stuff. But if it's just like a chunk of cranberry, I'm like, I don't. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's
what we're going with.
Cool. So then for my next next pick, I'll leave the.
Now
I'll leave
you
the
can
other
have
tipping his pick.
No,
Yeah, now
I'm
you can
between,
have French silk.
I'm between two, and well, okay, I'm not between two because one of them I hate. So if Nick wants to take it, it's all him. But I'll just go with the less iconic mainstay, but still it's at almost every Thanksgiving that I see too. So if you don't have turkey, I'm going with ham.
I literally was, if I didn't have turkey, I was like, I guess
Yeah,
I'll
you
take
can't
ham
combine
as well. I
those.
should have just taken ham and turkey.
Yeah,
I'm
you
like,
could have, yeah.
I think that might actually just win it for you, Jack, right there, because
Yeah, the fourth
like,
rounder.
he's got ham, potatoes, stuffing, and pecan pie. Like Jack's got every
ram,
course
chicken.
on there, but I'm like, I can't have turkey and ham.
Yeah. If you literally if you
I got
put all
handcuffed
four
to
of
this whole
these,
draft.
you had to take
I did.
the icon. Yeah, but if you wouldn't have taken turkey, and I would, like you said, if I would have gotten that, I would have been over. But if you put my
Right.
four things on a plate, that's a whole meal. So I feel good about
Exactly.
it. I got the dessert, I got the main, I
Exactly.
got the side. Yeah, ham feels good. I actually like ham more than turkey, but for the Thanksgiving
well.
purposes, it's can't go against the OG. But yeah, ham with my Mr. Irrelevant pick. I'm feeling good.
Yep.
I don't know. Your roster looks pretty dry without that gravy.
But think of the butter that I'm going to put on my mashed potatoes. I mean, the
Just
pecan pie.
whole bunch of butter on
I picked the
everything.
dry pie too. I didn't even think of that. French silk would have at least
You did.
refreshed it a little.
Yeah.
Well, this leaves me
With nothing.
We can go
between
with the gross
two.
casserole.
I have two left on my list. The gross
Hey,
one
green-
that I don't know.
Green bean
I really
casserole,
like.
delicious.
Obviously, I believe you're referring to green bean casserole,
Yeah,
Delicious.
which I do enjoy. But to round it out, I'm going to go with pumpkin pie.
Okay.
There you go.
It's just a classic. I think I'm shocked it made it this far. I understand it's not everyone's favorite, but it's definitely one of mine, and it's just an iconic Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I don't mind pumpkin pie, but I felt like it would just be more divisive, and I eat more pecans. So look at that, Tyler. 2 pies got drafted, and neither were French silk.
I know. I probably should have taken French silk just to swap out with cranberry, just so we at least each have a pie.
That would have been.
Your dessert is cranberry sauce.
I don't need a dessert. I was like, I got rolls and biscuits. People are going to be on my side with that.
That's true. You're gonna fill up.
You could just make a sandwich with your turkey and mac and cheese and rolls.
Yeah, you thought mine was
Yeah,
dry. He's got turkey with no gravy and bread. Ugh.
Hey, at least the mac and cheese adds a little
That's true.
sauce.
That's
So
true.
good.
Oh, have you dip the rolls into the mac and cheese or make a little mac and cheese sandwich? Oh, I've done that. Real quick, just to say it for the soundbite wise. Best Thanksgiving foods teams. I have mashed potatoes, stuffing, pecan pie, and ham.
And I've got turkey, rolls and biscuits, mac and cheese, and cranberry sauce.
And I have gravy, corn casserole, sweet potato casserole, and pumpkin pie.
All great teams. I can't get over that gravy was the first. It still feels like a great pick, but
That's crazy.
it's making me I love it.
Mashed potatoes wasn't the number one pick. It's just ruining me right now.
I may have gone gravy over turkey. It may have been my number 2, but still, I was just like, I love the. I'm so glad we clarified because that was such a strong pick on its own. So,
I use it on everything, so I had to go with it.
I love it. Stay true.
You put gravy on your pumpkin.
That's why
pie.
I lose half of these.
That's true. Yeah, well, you'll probably win again because there's nothing mentioned about Scooby-Doo. So, congrats.
That's true. We did it.
Real quick, I think we already decided this last week before we realized it was Thanksgiving, but we are doing best cartoon animals over best fictional foods. Is that correct?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, all right, we'll do that next week, and then we'll get into something Christmas or whatever. I don't know. I just make it up as we go.
I don't know. Like we do every episode.
Yeah, correct. All right, I think that's it for the drafts. Anything else? Nick, how was your first draft experience? Do you have any picks that you left on the board, or did your scouting team come through for you? What?
I'm pretty happy with my lineup. Although it is one of those where if you look at like the full lineup, it's probably not the most well-rounded, but it's all things I enjoy. I stayed true, so
yep.
I'm happy about that. I was thinking the one thing I'm not happy about is hearing my voice.
Just wait till you
listen.
One
One of those
back.
where you guys are probably used to it by now, but it's always weird hearing your voice.
Nope. Yeah, I still hate it. I listen back to put chapters in or edit stuff, and I'm just like, oh, why do I sound like that? Because you always think you sound differently, and then you hear your voice, and you're like, what's wrong with me?
Exactly.
So yeah, no.
Not a fan.
Tyler, we know your scouting team dropped the ball, so we'll just move on from there. Do you have anything to wrap up the show with?
Yeah,
that's not hurtful to me.
Jack, you suck. I hope you lose. I think I play you in a league, maybe 2 leagues this week, so I hope you lose both of those. But no, I appreciate everybody listening. Nick, appreciate you being on and joining the draft. So anybody else wants to join future ones, by all means, feel free to reach out. We're happy to do it. We really enjoy the multi-team drafts, and it's not just me and Jack talking back and forth at each other for an hour. So appreciate all the listens. Shout out to all the friends of the show. MinneZona Sports have all been great shouting us out, so we appreciate that. And Jack loves his jersey. He wears it every day and texts me about 4 times a day about it. ADH Dads on YouTube as well. Just a couple of parents back and forth. Some of them have kids, some don't, but more just kind of general stuff. Game Boys, if you're into that, they do a lot of game reviews and whatnot. So for us, you can find us on Discord, mostly YouTube as well. Occasionally at Twitter, but the best route to get to us is at YouTube. So appreciate all the likes, appreciate the subscribes, and listen as always. Until next time, Pod. Peace out.
Nick, send us off.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy gravy.
Thank you for listening to the Victorious POD podcast. Follow us on YouTube at the Victorious POD.